Thank you. Thank you so much for being here this morning. It's always an honor to come and perform, well, speak at the SHEROES Summit. I'm always, whenever Sari says come and speak, or someone says come and speak about your life, I'm always a little taken aback. And I think my life really, it's just been led the way I wanted to lead it. So I don't know if it's going to be of any worth to any one of you, but I'm going to try and tell you how I went along doing the things that I wanted to do. I've had a fairly simple mantra for everything that I've done. You know, I've used two words. Essentially, those words are to get lost. Every time I've wanted to find my way, I have got lost. I have allowed myself to get lost because that's what my roadmap for my life has been. And I haven't done it in a rebellious manner or, you know, just trying to be different. I've done it because I have trusted my gut, my inner voice, my intuition to guide me, to tell me what is right for me. And intuition is something we tend to ignore because it's the most scary, it's the deepest truth that comes from within. We don't trust ourselves enough. We listen to that other voice in our heads, which generally isn't our own voice. It's the voice of people outside. It's the voice that's going to say, how will people react if you do this? Log kya kahenge? And what if they don't approve? But what if someone says, is she crazy? And come on. The point of the matter is you have to learn to dull that voice. Because at the end of the day, it is your life. And it is this one life that you have as yourself in your present avatar. We're not here to discuss past lives. This is who you are for this moment. And you have to choose to do what makes you happy. You have to, as I said, I tweeted yesterday, you have to sing to your own tune. And if you seek validation from outside, that is the biggest mistake you will make. Because not everyone is going to approve. There will always be people who'll say, you know what? I get asked all the time. When I first started singing, people would say, Acha, you're a singer, but what is your real job? And I'd be like, no, I'm a singer. Yeah, but that's a hobby. What do you really do? And I'd be like, no, I am a singer. And in fact, I didn't become a singer, even though I started learning music when I was very young. I didn't become a singer till I started to say it to myself and I started to believe I am a singer. I am a musician. And that's when my life changed. So you have to say it out loud. You have to say what you believe, what your heart tells you. And I can tell you, I mean, I didn't start as a musician. I did start learning when I was very young, and I was very fortunate to learn from teachers. Anyone would have given, like, many of their limbs, forget just their arms, to learn from these teachers. I was really lucky. I was very fortunate. But I didn't continue with it. I did all the other things I wanted to do. I was very interested in art. So I went to art school. As soon as I finished school, I went to art college. I trained to be a graphic designer for 4 years. I sang through college. I was lucky enough to go to a college where there was enough music. But then I joined advertising. And I joined advertising as an art director. And in advertising, I was told that, okay, you're an art director. You can't come up with clever ideas. You just design the ads. And I think being a woman who believes in herself or her strengths, I said, no, I can do anything I want to do, and I will do anything I want to do. So I started writing my own ads. And I did write them better than all the terrible copywriters. And I did it to prove a point to myself. Again, not validation from outside. Every time I have won a little battle, I have won it against myself. I have won it for myself, not even against, but for myself, because I wanted to prove to myself that I could do something. So I became a writer. I worked in advertising for 5 years, and it was great because all my contemporaries were art directors. No one ever questioned my judgment because they said she knows enough about art and she's a writer. So I did that, and then at the turn of the millennium, without wanting it to be dramatic, it just happened. I had been learning from my teacher for a while, but I wasn't getting time in advertising to actually do my riyaz and to go for lessons. So 31st of December, 2000, turn of the millennium, I quit. And I went to my boss, and he said, why do you want to leave? Are you angry with client servicing? And I said, all the time, but that's not why I'm leaving. I'm leaving because I really want to see. I have this one life, and I want to see if I can do it. And I said, if it doesn't work, I'll come back in 3 months. I quit, and it didn't work. I lost my voice. I lost my voice for an entire year. I had everything from laryngitis, pharyngitis. I would keep hearing from people कि सरस्वती को गले में बैठने के लिए समय लगता है. So I believed that because I wasn't going to be a quitter. So I kept pursuing whatever else I could do that was related to art or made my soul happy for that year, I said, doesn't matter if I won't sing, I have to give this a shot. So for that year, I did television, I traveled around India, I did a travel show. I mean, I lived, and I decided I was going to live. Anyway, a year later, I got my voice back, and I was able to resume my music. And I did it for a few years, till after 3 years later, my mother was detected with stage 4 cancer. And my life, literally, it just fell apart. My mother is the reason till date that I sing. She's in every note. She was my best friend, my soulmate. It's still hard for me to talk about it. But a year later, and she got much better because she believed she was going to be better, and so did I. And then I decided I was going to get back to the music, but I couldn't sing still because my heart was broken. So I did theater. I didn't stop, is what I'm trying to tell you, at any point. I didn't let anything stop me because I said, I have something to say. I just need to find what it is. So I did theater. And through theater, I found so much beauty. I found so much learning. I found that one of the things that used to stop me from being what I wanted to be was the search of perfection, the search of everything needing to be right. The situation must be right. The place must be right. The things that I'm doing must be perfect. We put so many conditions that we realize that we miss out on what we're looking for. I needed to stop looking for perfection, and I needed to start looking for truth. And I realized that as long as there is truth in the moment, there will be beauty. Because if you do something with honesty and integrity, it will reach out to the other people. Thank you. Thank you. So as I said, I was fortunate to learn as a child from amazing teachers. But I think that I wasn't ready, as I said, because I was so critical or I was looking for the wrong thing. I didn't realize what I was looking for. So my teacher had said something to me. One of my gurus had said, Sonam, to sing, and I think not just to sing now, I can say this to you, to do anything, you have to have lived. And I didn't understand that as a 20-year-old. I thought, yeah, okay, we all live, but what is the point she's trying to make? But then I realized, after being through all of these things, I realized that yes, I think I have lived. I lived as a child through the 1984 riots. I lived through not understanding why we were made to feel different just because we belonged to a religion, a label. I lived through the tsunami where my husband and I almost died. We were holding onto a pillar in Sri Lanka for dear life, and we watched other people die around us, but we didn't die. I lived through questioning that. I lived through the miracle of my father also surviving a very serious illness. And I know that it was faith and belief in God or a superpower or something that got us through. I lived through the hardest of them all, my mother getting cancer, actually dying, and 2 years later losing my own father. But through all of that, and I went through many ups and downs and questioning God, questioning life, questioning belief, but I realized that the way forward was, yes, to search for that truth, to search for your own voice, your own tune, but to also learn to accept and to move on, finding a different kind of understanding. And also finding, for my music, which is what the Sufi Gospel Project is based on, finding God not in places, in shrines, in rituals, but in goodness and in people. And then I realized I did have something to say. After all of this, I created what is called the Sufi Gospel Project. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it because you'll understand what it means to me. I was singing, as I said, I started singing. I'd studied Hindustani classical music, but when I got out there, I started singing jazz. Again, people said, Arey, how come she's breaking the rules? And I said, it's what I feel like doing right now, and I will not be judged by anyone. I will do it because it makes me happy. And then I started singing gospel music, and everyone again said, but you belong to the Sikh religion. Why do you sing Christian bhajans, as they used to call them? And I said, I will call out to God in whichever way feels right, and if this is what I need to do right now, this is what I will do. And then I got invited to sing gospel music at the Dargah of Sufi Inayat Khan. And that was quite a turning point in my life because I said, here I am, I'm the Sikh girl who sings gospel music. So Sikh girl singing Christian music gets invited to a seemingly Islamic space to sing. And I said, this is the world giving me an opportunity to create something, to create my own voice. And so that's when I blended the many voices of faith together. And I did it with the intent to talk about equality, to talk about the fact that each of us may have our own truths, and I come back to the word truth. But each truth, no matter how you say it, where you find it, is just as valid. And if we listen carefully, we're all searching for the same thing, we're all saying the same thing, we might be saying it in different ways. Even yawning through my talk means that, you know, that's your own truth, you're tired. I'm just kidding. I'm really kidding. The point of the matter is, the idea was to try and blend all these unique voices together to say that we're all equal. And we did this. You know, we like to put tags on people because it makes us comfortable. So even when I get told, I'm like, you're a feminist. And I say, really, I've never thought of it like that. I've always thought that I will speak out for human rights, or I will speak out for equality. So perhaps I'm a humanist, but I've never thought of being a feminist. Or they say, you're a Sufi singer. And I say, no, I'm a singer, or I'm an artist who's trying to find my voice. Recently, I did just literally debuted a performance 2 days ago, 19th and 24th, on partition. And again, I was told by people, why are you doing something which is going to sort of dig up the ghosts of the past? I said, because we haven't, it's what I need to do. And B, we haven't talked about it enough. You go anywhere, you go abroad, there's a Holocaust museum. We don't talk about it, and until we talk about it, we won't move forward. So we did a show on partition where we took interviews from people who'd lived through it, but we spoke of a way forward, and a way forward of peace and brotherhood. And that's what we try and do with the music of the Sufi Gospel Project. We try and blend Amir Khusro with Amazing Grace, the words of Mahatma Gandhi's Abide With Me with the words of Kabir Das, who says, Moko kahan dhoonde re bande, main to tere paas mein. Na main jap mein, na main tap mein, na main vrat upvas mein. He says, why do you look for me outside? Why do you look for me in temples and shrines when I am in your heart? Whenever you need an answer, that answer is deep within you. And I come back to saying that we find God not in spaces, but we find God and we find our answers from within us. And I'm not going to talk much more, but I will play you a song. And that song is relevant in so many different ways. It's based on the words of Faiz Ahmad Faiz. And Faiz Sahab, for those of you who don't know, he was a revolutionary poet in Pakistan. And Faiz Sahab was, to me, he's one of my heroes because he has lived his life. He lived his life wanting to live it so that it amounted to something. And when I say that your life needs to amount to something, it doesn't need to amount to something in someone else's eyes. It needs to amount to something in your eyes. The greatest lives are those lives which are lived with passion, which are lived with belief, which are lived with integrity, and most importantly, the lives that are lived with honesty. So again, he didn't seek validation from outside. He spent most of his life in jail, and he wrote beautiful poetry from there. And one of the things he said was, Bol ke lab azad hain tere. Bol zaban ab tak teri hai. He says, speak, because your lips, they are still free. Speak, because your tongue, it is still your own. Your body, it is still your own. And I think that in this space, if I was to apply the words of that song, I would say, you have to live by your own choices. You have to live your own path. And you must do it with great belief in yourself. And at the end of it all, and I can tell you this being a musician, I once made the mistake of telling one of my clients when he was haggling with me about prices, I made the mistake of telling him, I said, that's fine, music feeds my soul, money doesn't. Of course, then I got paid really badly, but that was a big mistake. But the point of the matter is, I still believe that. Perhaps my belief here is different, but I think the things of great value, again, are not how much you make, and you shouldn't be judged on the basis of that, but how much of a difference you make, not how much of money you make. Not how many hours you put in sort of running up to the top, but how many hours you put from the very bottom to making what you believed worked. So find your own path. That's all I can tell you. I have found mine, and I feel like I'm home now, and I'm still walking this path in search of more truths. But as I said, one thing I will not do is seek validation from outside, because the minute I do that, I will get lost. But I will get lost in the wrong way, not the way that I want to be lost. So coming back to Faiz Sahab, he says, speak, because your lips, they are still free. Your body, it is still your own. Your tongue, it is your own. Your life, it is your own. And we released it on the 15th of August saying that, you know, the greatest impact you can have is if you use your voice to make a change, to speak out against injustice. But as I said, in this room of incredible women, the very fact that you came here today, you're choosing your path, you're choosing to break out. So I'd just say, keep speaking out for what you believe in, for what you need to do. Bol ke lab azad hai tere.
बोल के लब आजाद हैं तेरे, बोल ज़बान अब तक तेरी है, तेरा सुतवा जिस्म है तेरा, बोल के जा अब तक तेरी है, बोल के लब आजाद है तेरे, बोल ज़बान अब तक तेरी है, सुतवा जिस्म है तेरा, बोल के जा अब तक तेरी है, देख के आहंगर की दुकान में तुंद है शोले, सुर्ख है आहन, खुलने लगे कुफलों के दहाने, फैला हर एक जंजीर का दामन, बोल के लब आजाद है तेरे, बोल ज़बान तक तेरी है, एक आवाज़ है हम, बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम, बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम, बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम, एक आवाज़ है हम, बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम। बोलिए थोड़ा वक्त बहुत है, जिस्मो ज़बान की मौत से पहले बोल के सच जिंदा है अब तक बोल जो कुछ कहना है कह ले बोल ये थोड़ा वक्त बहुत है जिस्मो ज़बान की मौत से पहले बोल के सच जिंदा है अब तक बोल जो कुछ कहना है कह ले बोल के लब आजाद है तेरे बोल ज़बान तक तेरी है एक आवाज़ है हम बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम ज़बान तक तेरी एक आवाज़ है हम बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम बोलो एक आवाज़ है एक आवाज़ है हम एक बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम बोलो एक आवाज़ है हम
Thank you, and thank you for being such a wonderful audience. Thank you, and do remember.